Hi there, if you just clicked onto our website, you're watching an episode of Supernatural Singapore. Now, we've just shown you a clip of a security guard who told us about a haunted condominium which he had previously guarded. So folks, what do you think of his experience?
Well, for me, it's highly possible. Two things is it's a repeat occurrences, and second, there is more than one so-called eyewitnesses to such phenomenon. So, I mean, personally, as of this stage, I believe there's a high probability there is something worth looking into. Now, as for certain part, as for example, he did mention he had this sensation about his leg being grabbed, all these things. Now, there's two ways to go about it. First, there could be external forces, external factor, like perhaps something really grabbed him. If not, it's something internal like muscles, contractions, or perhaps, maybe the clothings move in a way that it feels like grabbing onto you.
Or perhaps he's been sitting there the whole night and therefore
possible
muscle ache or cramps or...
That's one possible explanation. And the other part is he did mention about he saw half a man under a tree. Now, I'm not so sure because he did not describe how's the lighting environment is like. Perhaps maybe it's optical illusions whereby certain part of the trees form the shape of a head, human head, all this that give illusions that there's a man standing down there, or maybe there is something standing down there. You may never know, but I like to say that it's highly possible, something worth looking into. Though as of this point, we are not very sure whether it is truly paranormal or not.
Okay, but how would you, as Society of Paranormal Investigators, go about investigating this condominium if it is indeed haunted?
I think the most appropriate way is to approach the security guard himself, to find out more about what he actually saw on regularly over the nights, and thereafter interacting with the resident is also one of the possible thing to do, to find out what could be a past historical case happening in the condominium area, and of course not to mention about our experiment. We have to do if we were given a chance to do an experiment, of course we would like to do it.
But of course, there's a rule when there's a lot of people there.
Yeah.
Ghosts or spirits often do not want to appear. Is that right?
The experiment that we are talking over here, normally we do not need to be present during the processing. We will do the remote monitoring, remote recording around the area. Remote monitoring meaning we have an infrared video cam to see what is the occurrences throughout the period of time, something like that.
Okay, so in other words, you'll still station a security guard there, leave him alone,
yes,
and then you'll monitor it externally.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very interesting. What about this half ghost that he was talking about? Assuming that he actually did see a half ghost, is a half ghost something that exists in ghost mythology?
Okay, in parapsychology, study, if you're talking about research into these ghosts, these so-called visual manifestation or spirit recording apparitions. Now, there are various type of apparition, from semi, sometimes lucid, transparent, not really transparent, translucent. We have even certain instances whereby there's almost solid manifestations, meaning there are ghosts that cast shadows when you take photo of it. So, in fact, it can be one of possibility where you can just see half a body, or perhaps is maybe the body is there. Maybe during at that time, like I mentioned, perhaps the lighting, all these things, do not so-called reflect on the lower half. It's basically based on how your eyes working.
Okay.
This one will take some time because you'll go more into biology, where the rods and the cone. But
right.
Basically, there is possible. In how apparition appear, there's no so-called fixed formula. You must be a full body, or there have to be no legs. You can have one without heads, without hands, without legs, or maybe just one little finger. Doesn't matter. There's no rules how an apparition should appear.
Right. Well, I've heard that the reason why some ghosts become half-bodied is because the house that they're haunting, or the place that they used to live in and which they continue to haunt, has been demolished, and therefore there's when a new house is built on top of the location, they become half a ghost. Is that true or false, or just a rumor? And
It's basically more
have
on
you
the
ever heard of
folksy.
it? It's just okay, guys. Thanks so much for joining us this week.
Thank you.
Next week, we meet a man who says that he has gone to hell and returned. He tells us what hell looks like. Okay, folks, that's it for us for now.